a bit of a prelude. Like Sharia used to be with me in Lums, I think like a batch below me. So we knew
Yeah.
each other from then, and then uske baad he reached out to me for this. So I was more than happy to come on and just spread this message, because I feel it's an important message to like to reach people. तो I did my bachelor's from Lums. 2018 में graduate किया था accounting and finance में. उसके बाद फिर 2 साल ICI में काम किया, then did like 4 years at Engro. और उसके बाद साथ-साथ like I started my investment journey. तो शुरू में did fixed income, like mutual funds and stuff like that. Started with like saving certificates, then went on to like dollars, then mutual funds. उसके बाद then started like dabbling in stocks. And yeah, just been documenting my journey along the way. I've been active on YouTube and Twitter these days, and LinkedIn also sometimes. So whoever wants to read my work can always connect with me over there.
Perfect. Also, would you like to specify कि आप सिर्फ पाकिस्तानी markets में invest करते हैं, or also looking in regional markets or like global markets? How does your investment start? Like, what's your investment strategy? Are you only focused in Pakistan?
अब अभी फिलहाल तो पाकिस्तान में, because sitting in Pakistan you don't have I don't think you have the option to do markets outside. But कभी अगर मौका मिले तो I'd be happy to मतलब there are companies abroad that are a lot more. It sounds a little cliche, but you get the opportunity to invest in companies like Apple, Nvidia, वगैरह. So why not?
And do you think there's any chance that someone sitting in Pakistan can invest abroad? There's any mechanism or way जो अभी legally कोई कर सकता है? Is there any way possible for people here who are like working day jobs and want to just invest in global markets?
Honestly, I'm the wrong person to ask. I have no idea. I think I've read about like Elphinstone and some other companies that are probably doing it. Or maybe if you have like an account abroad, or like a bank account, or you've been there as a student, or you worked over there, and you have some links, then maybe it's easier to do. But otherwise, like Pakistan mein baithe, I don't think there are very frictionless ways of like investing in markets abroad.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Let's come back to the Pakistani market. Like I've also had some investments. मैं भी थोड़ा बहुत involved रहा हूँ. I meet a lot of people, and everyone's just like कि आपको पैसे invest करने चाहिए. But what would you suggest to someone who's watching this video and is just a beginner right now? मतलब he just graduated, उनकी job शुरू हुई है. He's working 9 to 5. He's saving, let's say, 50,000 per month, and he wants to invest it. So how should that person X should go about it?
अच्छा, तो देखो, number one, everybody should invest. सही है? There's a price, there's a cost that you pay of not investing, and that cost or that price you pay is basically inflation. So अगर आपके पास पैसे अगर बच रहे हैं हर महीने, and you want to protect your purchasing power, I think the bare minimum that you should, it's not like something that you can or cannot do. I think it's the bare minimum that everyone should do. So that's number one. You need to invest your money. Number two is कि invest करने के लिए बहुत सारे options हैं. It's not only it's not like you only need to do stocks, or you only need to do fixed income. Everyone can have like a diversified portfolio. तो मैंने खुद fixed income में शुरू किया था. Mutual funds are easier क्योंकि mutual funds में एक management fee देते हो, and like somebody else, like a professional, is managing your money. उसके अलावा saving certificates हैं. Fixed income is relatively less risky also, so you can it's like lending to the government. You can buy government bonds. And then then you have the stock market. The stock market is a place where like there are hundreds of Pakistani companies, good companies that increase profits every year. So you can become part owners of those companies. So there are different, point being that there are different modes of investing. But my advice to everybody would be that you should find a way to own assets. Don't just don't just keep accumulating expenses in your life. Obviously expenses are a part of life, but जो आपके पैसे बचते हैं, keep putting them in in assets, be that in stocks, buying shares of companies, or like buying bonds. It all depends on your risk appetite. So I'm not saying that there's one formula कि मैं आपको ये बता दूं और आप ये कर लें तो आप अमीर बन जाएंगे अगले दिन या अगले साल, or whatever the time frame may be. The idea is कि just keep doing it consistently. Just keep doing it consistently, and just keep your money invested, and just understand the kind of investor you are. Understand what kind of a risk appetite you have. Like stocks aren't for everybody, fixed income isn't for everybody. So you keep all those things in mind, and just like evolve along the way. Just keep learning and keep improving and keep doing things.
If someone जैसे you mentioned inflation, right? And जितने भी लोग पाकिस्तान में काम कर रहे हैं, if you talk to people, so the approach is to hedge your income against inflation, क्योंकि inflation अगर 30% पे around float कर रही है, and people के लोगों के इतने increments नहीं हो रहे, साल में 10-15% का salary increment होगा. If you have to rate investing instruments for people, so what would you rate? Like, what would be your 1, 2, 3? Like stocks, fixed income, mutual funds, or mutual funds, fixed income. How would you go with it?
देखो, दैट्स अ वेरी सब्जेक्टिव क्वेश्चन, क्योंकि हर किसी का अलग एक रिस्क एपेटाइट होता है, हर किसी की अलग फाइनेंशियल कमिटमेंट्स होती है जिंदगी में. किसी ने शादी करानी है, बच्चों को पढ़ाना है, किसी ने somebody is young, doesn't have kids, so it all depends on that. देखो, I I can tell you in terms of like risk and reward. सही है, तो in terms of risk and reward, पहले तो आप मतलब आप बैंक में रख लें पैसे, वो आपको इंटरेस्ट रेट मिलता रहता है, बट
वो
the
सबसे
rates are
ज़्यादा
coming
safe
down in Pakistan, and I don't
सबसे ज़्यादा safe
हाँ,
option है यार.
it's safe. Like you have savings accounts that pay you interest, but like those rates are going to come down because it's like a guaranteed cash flow. So when something is guaranteed, or like near, like close to guaranteed, then that the risk and reward is basically lower. उसके बाद फिर आपके पास you have options like gold. लोग gold लेके रख लेते हैं. I don't like gold that much क्योंकि it's like a defensive asset, it's like a risk off asset. जब दुनिया में चीजें ठीक नहीं होती, then people go to gold as an alternative asset class. But it's safe. गोल्ड हैंडल करने के मसले मसाइल होते हैं, लॉकर में रखना या इस तरह की चीजें. ऑब्वियसली उसके अल्टरनेटिव भी हैं, लाइक मीजान गोल्ड फंड होता है, बट दैट्स दे हैव लाइक अ मैनेजमेंट फी, which I don't like personally. But it's an option that people can consider, and I'm not going to say yes or no to anything. But उसके अलावा then there's a Pakistan Mercantile Exchange where you can trade commodities. So that's I won't say that's like a long term. I don't know if it's a long term thing, but I don't have experience with PMEX. I'm just telling it to you as one of the different avenues that people can look at. उसके बाद फिर आपके पास के national saving certificates, defense saving certificates होते हैं. This is also like a way to lend to the government. Again, it's fixed income, so low risk, low reward. Mutual funds में देखो, mutual funds is like has a lot of varieties. So आपके पास gold fund है, आपके पास fixed income funds हैं, उसमें cash funds हैं, money market funds हैं. There are funds that do long term instruments. There are funds that do short term instruments. There's a mix of it. I'm just saying there's like a lot of variety that people can explore. उसके बाद फिर hybrid funds होते हैं. So there's like there's a mix of like equity and like fixed income. There are asset allocation funds where like the money manager decides like पैसे कहाँ पे मैंने किस तरह allocate करने हैं depending on the economic cycle. And उसके बाद फिर then आजकल like cryptocurrency है. Again, don't have any experience, but it's I won't call it an asset, but like it's an avenue that where like even like big institutions have started planning in money these days. So people think it's like set up. Truth is if there's a lot of money at stake in that
Yeah.
particular like avenue for it to like suddenly vanish one day. And lastly, then there's like stocks. So stocks ka ye hai ki it's like a means of like owning a stake in any Pakistani company in the world, but Pakistan Stock Exchange पे आपके Pakistani companies में करने का मौका होता है. But stocks का ये है कि एक कंपनी है, कंपनी के कभी प्रॉफिट्स होते हैं, कभी लॉसेस होते हैं, कभी प्रॉफिट्स हाई होते हैं, कभी लो होते हैं. तो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दीस थिंग्स कि ये वॉलेटिलिटी आती है. इकोनॉमिक साइकिल्स भी होती हैं, लाइक कभी इकोनॉमी अच्छी चल रही हो, कभी अच्छी नहीं चल रही हो. So you need to keep all these things in mind before like getting your dipping your feet in the water. Matlab, you can't just just buy stocks and forget about them and like just think you're going to become like a millionaire one day. You need to like learn how to pick companies, how economic cycles function, and just make an informed like investing decision wherever you might invest.
Yeah, I think what like I would like you to reiterate as well. There's no shortcut of making a lot of money, right? Like जैसे crypto में भी I personally know so many people जिनको इतना ज़्यादा नुकसान हुआ है. I've never invested a lot, but थोड़ा बहुत market को मैं follow करता रहता हूँ. But there's no ऐसा नहीं होगा कि आप एक दिन से उठेंगे आप 10-15 हज़ार डॉलर बना लेंगे, right? You have to evolve with the market. Coming back to stocks, I would like if you can explain how can an average 20-year-old open a brokerage account? Because I might know that, you might know that, but for people who are watching this video and they just have like some amount of money to save, and हमने बहुत सारी यूनिवर्सिटी ग्रुप्स में भी देखा है, क्वेरी आती रहती है कि how should I invest, how should I open a brokerage account? So if you can explain that process briefly.
देखो, it's very simple. I might not give like a very detailed answer because I haven't done it as a student. सही है? I started investing in stocks when I, like became a salaried professional. So, you have like salary slips and stuff like that. Um, so देखो, opening an account is very straightforward. You just go to like any big name broker. I would always recommend people to go to like big brokers like RFB, AKD, K-Trade, like Chase Securities. Chase Securities is an up and coming one, but they I've been following them for a while. उसके अलावा JS है, मतलब I'm just saying this is not an exhaustive list, but just find any big name broker, go to them. They have like sales agents. They'll give you like a list of documentation requirements, and you just fulfill those requirements. Basically, as a salaried professional, those requirements are your salary slip, your zakat exemption certificate if that applies. उसके अलावा your ID card, and you just like basic formalities. And बाकी मतलब as a student, I'm not sure like proof of income वगैरह उस तरह की सारी चीजों में what the what the way around it is. But आजकल I think like ये एक सहूलत account भी आ गई है. तो सहूलत account
Yeah.
is basically that your capital I think is capped at like around 800,000. But उसके लिए the documentation requirements are very low. So it's very easy to open. So if students want to get started with like small amounts of capital, I would say that's a good place to look at. And बाद में then when you become a salaried professional, you can always like sort of move things around. And in terms of brokerages, there's also like some people like desktop experiences. Some people like like good mobile apps. Because you can mobile manage your portfolio digitally. You can do it on your computer. You can do it on your phone. So the typical brokers होते हैं, just to be completely objective, like the mobile experience isn't that great, and the desktop experience is like pretty good in my opinion. They have like a nice portal and stuff. But if people want a good mobile app these days, there's a startup called Finker Labs. So yeah, you can like
Yeah.
link that in your thing. But like they have like a really nice app. They've been working on it for quite a while, and their goal is like to become like a sort of a one-stop shop investment solutions app. So people can look into that. Point being, there are many like many avenues out there, but like just go with like a big reliable name, and your money will be safe. So just open your broker account, deposit money in the account, and then like baad mein you can like just learn how to analyze companies, and just start investing. Start small, but just start.
I would also like to an added question. A lot of people in Pakistan are personally, matlab, obviously, जो salaried professionals they know about money, but a lot of people who are up and becoming are dependent on their families. They don't have direct money managing decisions. मतलब जैसे कोई पेरेंट्स का अकाउंट यूज कर रहा होता है या उनके अपने अकाउंट में भी उनके पैसे जो हैं वो कोई एडल्ट मैनेज कर रहा होता है. तो would you think it's possible for them to invest as well, or they should probably wait until they start earning their own money? I think it was.
Your internet is choppy again.
Yeah.
Your internet is choppy again, so I think you should repeat that.
Okay. Yeah, so basically my next question was that a lot of people don't have money managing decisions on their own, right? मतलब उनके accounts में उनके parents या कोई बड़ा भाई या बड़ी बहन उनके पैसे manage कर रहा होता है. And then फिर जब documentation का time आता है तो they need the relevant signatures, they need the relevant NPN numbers या whatever documents are required. Do you think they can also start investing, or they should wait until they're making their own money, or they should already start investing considering the situation right now?
Yeah, in terms of money, matlab, it depends, how much confidence you have in your abilities to invest. मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि take somebody else's your like family money and you just put it
Yeah.
in stocks so you don't understand. So that's obviously a risky endeavor. Starting is easy. because start करने के लिए सहूलत account है, उसके लिए इतनी formalities वगैरह नहीं है, तो मतलब हर किसी को account खोल लेना चाहिए. And then बाद में आप पढ़ना शुरू करेंगे तो you find ways to like pick good companies and just hold them for a
Yeah.
long period of time. I think that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Also, I mentioned that earlier when we were talking about this podcast. Do you think, like you and I, we kind of went through a relevant path in terms of like we did our degrees in finance, but do you think you need a relevant degree to start? क्योंकि बहुत सारे लोगों का ये होता है कि like let's say engineering professionals, software developers, they're very good at what they do, but they're at times not very good with money because they don't have that sort of like technical training to handle money, right? So do you think they can also invest, or they should rely on someone like you to manage their money? Like how should they go about investing?
Yeah, देखो, finance, you don't need a finance degree, right? You don't need a degree to
Yeah.
do anything in life.
Yeah, that's
And
true.
education is important. It just like it sort of molds your character. It teaches you how to learn. I think that's what education is all about. उसके अलावा मतलब if you want to learn any skills, मतलब मैंने bachelor's किया हुआ है, मैं शायद master's करूँ, शायद ना करूँ. Point being के मतलब it's good, like आपका network भी बन जाता है, but उसके अलावा like what really is the point when there's so many like books and resources and free videos and stuff available online.
Yeah.
आप courses वगैरह भी आप ले सकते हैं, paid courses भी होते हैं, free courses भी होते हैं. तो point being कि I never finance पढ़ी थी मैंने लम्स है, full disclosure. और फाइनेंस मैंने कभी अप्लाई नहीं की जिंदगी में. मतलब आई डिड
Yeah,
maybe did an
same.
internship in a bank, मैंने थोड़ा like फाइनेंस की साइड पे काम कर लिया हो, but वरना like I never really जो like managing money and stuff like that, allocating capital, वो मैंने कभी सही तरह से नहीं किया. तो when I started investing मैंने किताबों से शुरू किया. Like there's this book called The Intelligent Investor. I think everybody should read that book. सही है. उसके बाद फिर Peter Lynch है, he's got this book called One Up on Wall Street. So I read like 2-3 books on like and then I started feeling कि content is starting to be repeated now. तो उसके बाद then I sort of like started diversifying. I was like, okay, let's put these things into practice. उसके बाद फिर देखते हैं गलतियां जो करेंगे, उन गलतियों से like I'll improve my decisions. And I think कि making mistakes is the most important thing. So yeah, आप किताबें 100 किताबें पढ़ लें, but if you don't like put those things into practice now, you'll just be stuck on square one. So read a few books. After a certain point, you'll feel कि यार अब ये चीजें repeat होने लग गई. उसके बाद then maybe open your account. Start really small. मतलब मैं ये नहीं कह रहा कि अगर आपको वो पैसे चाहिए हो 6 महीनों में या 1 साल में for tuition or for something else, तो आप वो पैसे लगा दें stocks. And I'm assuming this conversation is only about stocks because we can talk about fixed income and other safer avenues later on also. But because stocks it's like owning a company. You're becoming like a partner with any big businessman in Pakistan. So आप businessman को भी देखोगे ना, they have like savings and they have cash and stuff like that. But वो business में जो है in terms of performance volatility तो आती है ना. मतलब कभी अच्छा time होगा, कभी बुरा time होगा. And you need to like weather the storm and enjoy the good time. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
तो start small. मतलब अगर आपके पास like 50,000 बच रहे हैं हर महीने, तो उसमें से मतलब मे बी आप कोई 30-40 हजार डाल दें फिक्स्ड इनकम में, क्योंकि फिक्स्ड इनकम का फायदा ये है कि यू कैन टेक इट आउट व्हेनेवर यू वांट. जो स्टॉक्स है उसका ये है कि अगर आपने फॉर एग्जांपल डाल दिए पैसे और मार्केट में कोई करेक्शन आ गई, कोई बुरी खबर आ गई, द इकोनॉमी इज सॉर्ट ऑफ टेकन बैड न्यूज हैज टेकन अ टोल ऑन द इकोनॉमी, तो फिर you'll have to sort of be patient and at least play it out until things get better. And it's important to understand how economic cycles work. सही है. तो मतलब there are times when you have like super high interest rates, जब spending बिल्कुल जमीन पे होती है, companies companies are struggling, जिस तरह हम like 2023 हम जिससे गुजरे थे. And there are good times where you have low interest rates, cheap money, companies investing in projects, companies growing. तो वो it's like a sine curve ना, you just need to follow that sine curve. अगर आप मतलब बिल्कुल ऊपर आप इन्वेस्ट करेंगे, फिर you'll wait till your portfolio goes all the way down, then you'll just keep losing money over time. But the idea is अभी for example in Pakistan अभी interest rate monetary easing की बातें हो रही हैं, people are expecting the economy will get better. So we're sort of at that almost near the bottom right now, or maybe we've come out a little, but we're still somewhere near the bottom. So अभी वो पूरा cycle चलेगा, it'll go all the way up. फिर वो बिल्कुल euphoria होता है where everybody's entering stocks and they're like, yeah, there's insane returns to be made. और फिर उसके बाद फिर वापस the cycle. So the economic cycles are inevitable in life. Anyone who's getting started, even if you're a student, you need to understand those. So yeah, आप economics 101 पढ़ें, macroeconomics पढ़ें, just understand किस तरह credit cycle चलता है. पाकिस्तान की केस में like economy, how does economy work in terms of macro fundamentals कि यार वो आपका current account deficit और inflation और इस तरह की चीजें कैसे चलती हैं. It's all cyclical.
Yeah, that makes sense. Also, stocks से पहले you mentioned the interest rate. Do you think कि इस साल we will be witnessing interest rate cuts? क्योंकि अभी तक तो 20 to 22% के बीच में ही हम oscillate कर रहे थे. But do you think we're gonna go back to like 16-17% by the end of this year? Like just a prediction.
ये देखो, I'm not an economic expert, so I'm just giving you a view that I've sort of accumulated by listening to different people and just following different people. So the word on the street is कि yes, rates कम होंगे. The word on the street is कि oil की prices, and that's not word on the street, मतलब you can see that happening also. Oil की prices कम हो रही हैं, दुनिया में monetary easing की expectations हैं. It's just a matter of time. So जून में होते हैं नहीं होते हैं, I don't know, but it will happen. It has to happen because we've already been through the worst in terms of the economic cycle. And the economy has to grow. Be that growth be on the back of consumption या फिर on the back of like exports, but economy ने grow करनी है. तो consumption और imports के मतलब के basis पे हो या फिर if we like develop new avenues to grow, that's a different debate. but rates से कम होने, inflation कम हो रही है, probably over the next 2-3 months we'll see that play out. I personally think that it depends on, you know, like how uh, one trigger is like the IMF program, like, you know, we entered an IMF program, we have that in the bag. उसके बाद फिर, you know, like macro stability prevails, political stability prevails, countries like US start cutting rates. मतलब yesterday I think Canada started cutting rates. I'm not sure how significant that is, but I'm just saying कि ये easing cycle एक होनी है, and, you know, like the economy has to, you know, grow.
Yeah. Coming back to stocks, like we've talked about stocks a lot, but for someone who's listening, do you have any set of recommendations in mind? कि यार अगर आप शुरू कर रहे हो, what are the go-to companies? What are the go-to stocks? What should one look out for? क्योंकि पाकिस्तान में ये भी बहुत होता है ना कि हमारी स्टॉक एक्सचेंज बहुत रैपिडली ऑसिलेट करती है, एंड बस वो कुछ न्यूज़ पे कोई टिकट चल जाता है एंड द स्टॉक एक्सचेंज लाइक स्टार्ट्स टू रिएक्ट। तो लोग बहुत ज़्यादा, पीपल हु आर नॉट प्रिवी विद पाकिस्तान फाइनेंशियल मार्केट्स, वो बहुत ज़्यादा हेसिटेंट होते हैं। देयर लाइक ये सट्टा है, इसमें नुकसान होगा, एट द एंड ऑफ द डे टेक होम ज़ीरो होता है, you just feel temporary validation अगर आपका portfolio बढ़ जाता है, but then at the end of the day you're not taking money home. So would you like to reflect on that?
I think you need to repeat that question. I think ये मेरा
Yeah,
connection भी जो है ना मुझे कह रहा है कि
yeah,
just repeat the
no,
same question. It's a
yeah,
good
yeah, you
question.
know, so basically the point is कि people are hesitant to invest in stocks, right? Because for them they think कि stocks बहुत एक temporary आपको rush मिलता है in terms of wealth, but you're not taking home real money. Like that's the word on the street. Like if अगर मैं आज अपने dad,
Sorry, bro, you'll have to do it again one more time.
yeah, okay, sorry. Like, can
Sorry,
you
यार.
hear me now? No, 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 it's fine. So basically,
Yeah.
if I talk to my dad today कि यार I need to invest, let's say, X amount in stocks, so वो मुझे पहली जो चीज़ बोलेंगे वो ये बोलेंगे कि you won't be taking any real money home. You're just gonna witness like a temporary rush. थोड़ी सी आपकी wealth बढ़ेगी, you're gonna reinvest it and you're gonna lose the money. That's the common perception about Pakistani stock market. So would you like to reflect on that? How does that happen? How can you actually take home money from
Yeah,
stocks?
देखो, this is a misconception, सही है.
Yeah,
I'm not saying कि market manipulation नहीं होती है. You know, there's a lot of like front running and insider trading and stuff like that. ये होता है. But the Pakistani stock market is like every stock market in the world, सही है. Market होती क्या है? It's like a place where like buyers and sellers, like, you know, sort of take bets on certain assets. And markets are forward looking. I think that's like something really important that people need to understand. Market हमेशा जो है ना फ्यूचर के बेसिस पे चीजों को प्राइसिंग करती रहती है. तो पाकिस्तान का मसला ये है कि पाकिस्तान में पॉलिटिकल इंस्टेबिलिटी इतनी थी कि ऑब्वियसली जब व्हेन द मार्केट स्टार्ट प्राइसिंग इन समथिंग गुड, बट देन, यू नो, समथिंग हैपेंस लाइक वोट ऑफ नो कॉन्फिडेंस, और, यू नो, समथिंग एनीथिंग एल्स फॉर दैट मैटर, ऑब्वियसली द मार्केट विल टेक अ डीप, मतलब, यू नो, विल टेक अ डाउन टर्न. तो ये जहन से लोग निकालते हैं कि यार द मार्केट इज मैनिपुलेटेड. सो ये इट्स अ प्लेस वेयर लाइक मिलियंस ऑफ, नॉट मिलियंस, आई डोंट नो कितना नंबर होगा पाकिस्तान में तो कम ही है, but लाखों लोग आते हैं, and they're all like, you know, sort of just buying and selling different assets. And these aren't just assets, these aren't just pieces of paper, these are ownership stakes in good companies. सही है. तो अगर आप पाकिस्तान के worst of times भी देख लेना, तो companies like Lucky Group, companies like Bestway, companies like Engro, they've all made money ना, मतलब इनके profits अच्छे खासे बने हैं. They've some जो stable businesses हैं, जो essential businesses हैं, इन्होंने मतलब, you know, like default वाले time पे भी जो ना, मतलब इन्होंने अपनी like profitability काफी अच्छी grow की थी. तो एंड देखो, मतलब you're basically chasing like future cash flows ना, future cash flows कह लें या profitability कह लें, you're basically, that's what you're buying basically. You're buying some assets, you're buying the commercial land, you're buying the machinery, आप इस तरह की सारी चीजें खरीद रहे हैं, but at the same time you're buying the cash flows that these assets will, you know, produce in the future. तो वो cash flows आते हैं in good stable companies, सही है. वो उन cash flows के basis पे your wealth will also increase. उन cash flows के basis पे you will keep getting dividends. तो मैं हमेशा लोगों को ये कहता हूँ कि always understand the kind of company you're buying. सही है. मुख्तलिफ तरह की companies होती है ना, तो आपके फिर high growth companies होती हैं, जो छोटी companies होती हैं. फिर आपके पास so high growth companies में like for example Airlink आ गया, या, you know, like सासगर आ गया. फिर आपके पास like, you know, स्टेबल कंपनीज होती हैं, like, you know, कुछ प्रोडक्ट्स हैं जिन्होंने बिकनी है, like कोलगेट, मतलब टूथपेस्ट, लोग दांत ब्रश करते रहेंगे. Obviously, you know, default आया या नहीं आया, people have to brush their teeth, people have to, like, you know, get ready, people have to, like, you know, follow up a basic hygiene, people have to eat food, तो खाद बिकना है, फर्टिलाइजर बिकनी है आपकी. People have to, like, you know, open bank accounts, companies have to borrow money. तो, you know, ये एक साइड, the ecosystem will keep working. अगर वो पाकिस्तान में मतलब, you know, इकोनॉमिक क्राइसिस भी अगर आ जाए तो कुछ चीजें चलनी है. obviously cements या इस तरह की जो cyclical businesses, cements हो गई, steels हो गई, these businesses have, like this follow the economic cycle. That sine curve that I talked about previously follows that sine curve. सही है, तो मतलब अगर आप जमीन पे लेंगे और आप ऊपर बेचेंगे तो you'll make money. अगर आप ऊपर लेंगे और आप जमीन पे बेचेंगे तो you lose money. So it's all about understanding what you're buying. Are you buying a high growth small company? Are you buying a stable blue chip company that pays dividends? Are you buying a cyclical company? People need to understand these things. For most people, I think dividend investing is a good thing. क्योंकि मुझे भी इन्वेस्टिंग का चस्का जब लगा था, मैंने गॉट माय फर्स्ट डिविडेंड पेचेक इन माय बैंक अकाउंट. तो डिविडेंड क्या है? डिविडेंड जिस तरह आप प्रॉपर्टी लेते हैं, आपने रेंट पे लगा दिया, आपको रेंट मिलता रहा. डिविडेंड्स भी ये थे ना, आपने कंपनी लिया, फॉर एग्जांपल आपने एंग्रो या फौजी फर्टिलाइजर लिया, उस दैट कंपनी केप्ट ग्रोइंग इट्स प्रॉफिटेबिलिटी, उसने कैश जनरेट करना, मतलब करती रही कैश जनरेट. दैट कैश टर्न इनटू लाइक सम कैश वाज रीइन्वेस्टेड इन द बिजनेस, कुछ कैश जो है डिविडेंड्स के तौर पे आ गया इन्वेस्टर के पास. एंड डिविडेंड इज एक पैसिव इनकम ना, मतलब आप सोए में आप कुछ नहीं कर रहे, आपको डिविडेंड आता जा रहा है.
Yeah.
फिक्स्ड इनकम में भी यही है कि आपको जो ना लाइक बेसिकली इंटरेस्ट पेमेंट्स मिलती रहती है, या इस्लामिक बैंकिंग प्रॉफिट पेमेंट्स मिलती रहती हैं आपको. तो पॉइंट बीइंग कि यार मतलब यू कैन बी एन ओनर ऑफ अ कंपनी, वो जो कंपनी फ्यूचर में प्रॉफिट्स कमाएंगी वो कुछ आपको कैपिटल गेन भी देंगी, कुछ वो आपको बेसिकली कैपिटल गेन आएगा जब वो ग्रो करेगी, इन्वेस्ट करेगी लाइक गुड प्रोजेक्ट्स. डिविडेंड्स आते रहेंगे फ्रॉम द लाइक इट्स अ शेयर ऑफ द प्रॉफिट्स, जो कंपनी मुनाफा कमाएगी उस प्रॉफिट का जो हिस्सा है वो बेसिकली आपके बैंक अकाउंट में आता है. एंड दैट डिविडेंड कम्स डायरेक्टली इन योर बैंक अकाउंट. आपको कुछ करने की जरूरत भी नहीं है, मतलब वो डायरेक्टली आ गया, एंड यू कैन डिसाइड कि यार ये पैसे मैं जाके अब आइसक्रीम खरीद दूं, या मैं ये पैसे
Yeah.
वापस जो है ना उस कंपनी में डाल दूं. It's called
Reinvest it.
compounding. Now, if you reinvest your
Yeah.
wealth, you're basically compounding.
Yeah. What are the top companies that offer dividends in Pakistan as of today? Like if you can name 5, what would you suggest?
Yeah, देखो, I don't have so apologies because I might have data that's a little slightly outdated, like 2023 का अगर मैं data देखता हूँ. So a lot of the banks paid like good money क्योंकि banks sort of like increase their wealth income by a lot.
उनकी with the interest rate
not
उनकी profitability भी बहुत बढ़ रही है.
yeah, they made record profits, so profit की वजह से उन्होंने dividends बहुत अच्छे दिए, very very good profits. कुछ power companies भी हैं, like Hapco pays a good dividend if I recall correctly. Agro fertilizers, Fauji fertilizers, these are also good like dividend companies. उसके अलावा then there's like I think like Bestway Cement also plays good dividend. मतलब the dividend के लिए what you look at is dividend yield. It's basically साल में आपको dividend कितना मिल रहा है in rupees divided by the share price of that company. So there are a lot of companies like I think मतलब अगर मैंने ये जो mention किए examples, I think ये 5 examples तो इधर ही आ गए. कुछ banks आप ले लें, MCB pays a good dividend, UBL pays a good dividend, Bestway Cement pays a good dividend, Miller Tractors pays a good dividend, Agro Fertilizers, Fauji Fertilizers, and I think there are many more examples, but वो मेरे पास अभी list नहीं है. I can maybe even share it to you and you can put it on the screen, like for your viewers.
Sure, I can once I upload it, I can also add like a relevant link as well. Coming back to stocks की बहुत बात हो गई है, but generally जो question हमें बहुत मिलता है, a lot of people in their 20s, especially in Pakistan, बहुत सारे लोग are considering to go abroad or some sort of like investments, because basically the thing is everyone wants to make more money, right? Like everyone's just hell bent on wealth creation के किसी तरह में ज़्यादा पैसे बना लो. And I wanted to know if someone's, let's say, wants to go abroad next year and they have a certain amount of money, what would for you be the best instrument where they should invest in? Should it be fixed income? Should it be stocks? Or any
that's a very good
future
question.
capital कोई भी capital expenditure.
That's a very good question. I got this question like probably 2 days back from somebody else.
Yeah.
So देखो, in terms of going abroad, I would say कि I don't want to misguide people. I think going abroad is always like a good option क्योंकि वहाँ पे you're closer to innovation, you're closer to economies that are growing faster, you're closer to मतलब like larger economies in general. तो अगर आप बाहर जा सकते हैं, अगर आप किसी like developed market like अमेरिका जैसी market में आप experience ले सकते हैं, or if you can invest over there, like the people have made fortunes like investing in like developed markets. And exposure is good क्योंकि वो पाकिस्तान भी आएंगे ना वापस, तो वो experience पाकिस्तान में भी आपके लिए value add करेगा. आप corporate sector में भी add value करेंगे और आप अपने लिए भी करेंगे. तो ये एक बात होगी. अगर आप बाहर चले गए, तो अगर आपने इन्वेस्ट करना है, I would always say कि यार बाहर इन्वेस्ट करना बेहतर होगा शायद, क्योंकि यूएस में जो है ना, फॉर एग्जांपल आप इंडेक्स फंड्स कर सकते हैं, लाइक इकोनॉमी, इट्स द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट इकोनॉमी इन द वर्ल्ड. उसके जो भी मसले हैं आजकल, इट्स स्टिल द स्ट्रॉन्गेस्ट इकोनॉमी इन द वर्ल्ड, एंड इट्स अ मोस्ट इनोवेटिव इकोनॉमी. सारी जो दुनिया की अच्छी इन्वेंशंस आती हैं, बी एट सेमीकंडक्टर्स, बी एट सॉफ्टवेयर, बी एट सोशल मीडिया, ऑल दीज थिंग्स कम फ्रॉम देयर. तो अगर आप यू कैन इन्वेस्ट इन दोज काइंड ऑफ एक्साइटिंग कंपनीज, तो यार नथिंग बेटर देन इन्वेस्टिंग इन कंपनीज लाइक दैट. लोग वहां पे तो इंडेक्स फंड में इन्वेस्ट करते हैं क्योंकि उसकी मैनेजमेंट फीस भी कम होती है, और लोग बस जो ना पे चेक मिल रहा है उसमें से जो ना उन्होंने X% बस वो डालते गए हर महीने. अब आ जाती है कि अगर आप बाहर चले गए तो बाहर जाके आपने पाकिस्तान में क्या करना चाहिए। पाकिस्तान का ये है कि अगर आपके पास फैमिली हो यहाँ पे, तो कुछ लोगों से मैं बात कर रहा था, ओवरसीज पाकिस्तानीज हैं, दे हैव फैमिलीज बेस्ड इन पाकिस्तान, तो वो वैसे ही उनको रेमिटेंसेस भेजनी होती हैं पाकिस्तान। तो अगर उन्हें रेमिटेंस भेजनी है तो व्हाई नॉट जस्ट बाय अ कंपनी दैट्स बेस्ड इन पाकिस्तान, अ गुड कंपनी, अ ब्लू चिप कंपनी जो डिविडेंड्स वगैरह भी देती रही, एंड व्हाई नॉट जस्ट लेट दोस डिविडेंड पेमेंट्स जस्ट कीप फीडिंग योर फैमिली ओवर हियर, मतलब दैट्स अ डायरेक्ट पेमेंट इन योर बैंक अकाउंट, इट्स अ डायरेक्ट पे चेक। तो I'm just saying कि that's like one option to look, that's one way to look at this। ये मतलब आपने ये बेसिकली ऑटोमेट कर दिया प्रोसेस को। अब वो अलग है कि आप बाहर की कंपनी भी लेंगे तो वहां से भी अगर आप पाकिस्तानी बैंक अकाउंट में वो कैश फ्लो आता है, नॉट श्योर कि पॉसिबल है ही नहीं है, बट पॉइंट बीइंग कि यू कैन जस्ट बिकम एन ओनर ऑफ अ कंपनी एंड दैट कंपनी विल जस्ट कीप
Yeah,
पेइंग यू फॉर इटर्निटी अंटिल इट रिमेन्स अ गुड कंपनी।
I
तो
I want
कमिंग
to.
बैक टू योर क्वेश्चन,
Yeah,
आई थिंक इसका शॉर्ट आंसर ये होगा कि पाकिस्तान इज सॉर्ट ऑफ एन इमर्जिंग मार्केट, सही है। बहुत सारे मसले मसाइल हैं पाकिस्तान में, आई स्टिल थिंक इकोनॉमी इज नॉट आउट ऑफ द रेड राइट नाउ, बट हैविंग सेड दैट अगर पाकिस्तान ग्रो करती है तो इट्स ऑलवेज गुड टू हैव सम एक्सपोजर इन इमर्जिंग मार्केट। तो व्हाट बेटर देन लाइक सपोर्टिंग योर इकोनॉमी, इन्वेस्टिंग इन इट्स लाइक अ ग्रोथ प्ले, मतलब क्यों ना, अगर चल गया तो चल गया, अगर नहीं चला देन इन दैट केस आई स्टिल बी गेटिंग डिविडेंड्स, कंपनीज विल स्टिल बी मेकिंग मनी एंड स्टिल probably be making me rich, in more in rupee terms but also in dollar terms।
yeah. Because this is very important because मैं like with your what you just said, क्योंकि even like जब मैं भी बाहर during my masters में बहुत सारे लोगों से मिला, and even abroad लोगों का पाकिस्तान में invest करने का ना mindset बड़ा different है। बाहर they are willing to get Nvidia, ASML, Google, Alphabet के stocks, Amazon के stocks और मतलब रियल एस्टेट फंड्स ये वो इधर-उधर बहुत, लेकिन पाकिस्तान में व्हेनेवर इट कम्स टू इन्वेस्टिंग एवरीवनस लाइक ओके एक अपार्टमेंट लेके रेंट पे दे देते हैं। दे गोना टाई अप कैपिटल इन अ प्लॉट, वो बेसिकली डेट कैपिटल होता है बिकॉज़ इट्स अ वेरी ट्रेडिशनल माइंडसेट। लाइक आई मेट अ फ्यू पीपल इन देयर 20s हू आर मेकिंग गुड मनी एंड दे सेंड लाइक गुड मनी बैक होम एवरी मंथ एंड दैट मनी इज बेसिकली बीइंग यूज्ड, वो बस यहाँ पे रुपीस में बैंक अकाउंट्स में पड़ा हुआ है बिकॉज़ दे डोंट इन्वेस्ट द पाकिस्तानी सिस्टम। For them the only safe investment is के छोटा-मोटा प्लॉट, घर, अपार्टमेंट, ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा गोल्ड, what you just mentioned earlier. So how can we like we're just like two people talking, but how can we change this? Because people don't trust Pakistani markets.
Yeah, देखो, again just to be very honest with people, सही है, a market like the US, if I could invest in the market like the US, मैं शायद पाकिस्तान में नहीं करता, या शायद पाकिस्तान में maybe 10 20 30% कर लेता। I would probably still do emerging markets
Yeah,
क्योंकि it will keep me connected to home। मेरे यहाँ पे पैसे बनते रहे तो what issue do I have, and you're owning like good companies, मतलब अच्छे दामों पे अगर आप ये यहाँ की companies खरीद लो तो I think it's a good idea। बाहर देखो, बाहर there's like a lot more innovation, यहाँ पे
yeah.
कंपनीज अच्छे काम कर रही हैं बट they're they're very
The
basic
return,
businesses, मतलब
yeah, the
सीमेंट बना
return's
लिया,
not,
स्टील बना ली,
हाँ, the
गाड़ियों की
return's
असेंबली
not,
कर ली। हाँ, तो
yeah,
बाकी उसके अलावा then inflation devaluation है तो people will lose a lot of money to that। um, I'm not sure, I don't have the exact number on hand, but like stock market is probably one of the best investment vehicles if you want to like sort of beat, like make good like real returns। I'm not
yeah,
sure कि number क्या होगा exactly, but like you still like sort of compounding your wealth in like a pretty good way। पाकिस्तान में अगर देखो तो, या देखो अगर आप जमीन ले रहे हो ना, तो मेरी फिलॉसफी ये है कि आई वुड नेवर इन्वेस्ट इन समथिंग दैट आई कांट बाय एंड सेल डिजिटली, सही है। आई कैन
that's
सिट, आई एम
not
सिटिंग ओवर
liquid
हियर,
enough मतलब आपके लिए,
एग्जैक्टली,
because
मतलब आई एम
ज़मीन तो
सिटिंग ओवर
liquid
हियर,
नहीं।
आई हैव माय लैपटॉप ओपन, आई कैन बाय, आई एम लिटरली लाइक इफ आई सेल अ स्टॉक, आई एम बेसिकली आई डोंट लाइक ओन दिस कंपनी एनीमोर, इन 2 minutes आई कैन जस्ट गेट rid of the company। स्टॉक्स में या रियल एस्टेट में यार इट्स लाइक अ डेड एसेट, सही है। इन्वेस्टिंग इन रियल एस्टेट डज नो गुड फॉर द इकोनॉमी। आपने खाली प्लॉट ले लिया डीएचए सिटी में, आपने क्या उखाड़ लिया, मतलब वो
Yeah,
डबल ट्रिपल भी होगी वैल्यू में, मतलब यार व्हाट आर यू रियली डूइंग
वो
यार।
जब तक आप बेचेंगे,
शायद अगर
yeah,
आपने घर बनाने के लिए ले लिया, दैट्स अंडरस्टैंडेबल, बट इफ यू जस्ट बाइंग लाइक होल्डिंग लाइक 5 10 प्लॉट्स, यू आर मेकिंग प्रॉपर्टी एक्सपेंसिव फॉर अदर पीपल एंड मोर डिजर्विंग पीपल, यू आर नॉट डूइंग एनीथिंग गुड फॉर द इकोनॉमी। एंड यार, और व्हाट आई टेल पीपल इज कि अगर आप कंपनी में भी स्टॉक ले रहे हो ना, तो आप उस कंपनी की, यू बिकमिंग ओनर इन दैट कंपनी, तो उस कंपनी की अगर जमीन होगी कमर्शियल जमीन, तो कमर्शियल जमीन का यू बिकमिंग अ पार्ट ओनर। इफ दैट कंपनी हैज मशीनरी which is like sort of another like dollar hedge machinery, मतलब devaluation होती है तो उनकी values ऊपर जाती है, so you're becoming a part owner of that। If a company like Systems Limited, for example, they're exporting all their revenues in dollars, उनकी सारी cost rupees में, you're becoming part of a like like a good business model like that। So I don't understand कि लोग क्यों उस तरफ इतना जाते हैं।
yeah,
Obviously stocks में पाकिस्तान में मसले मसाइल हैं बहुत, devaluation के मसले, economic challenges. But yeah, देखो 2023 is the best example क्योंकि we saw कि यार what is the doomsday scenario, मतलब
Yeah.
everything goes down. What we saw is यार banks made a killing, other companies also increased their profits. जब वो profits बढ़ती हैं तो I'm sure you've studied finance, so you know what price earnings ratio is. So earnings is the bottom ना, तो जब वो earnings बढ़ती गई, so that ratio becomes smaller and smaller. When that ratio becomes smaller ना, so then it's basically that the company is like sort of becoming cheaper. मतलब eventually there needs to be some trigger, like some IMF program or some something good happens and एकदम से people are doubling their wealth, tripling their wealth. In some companies, people like 16x their wealth, yeah, 15 or 16x. Imagine
Yeah.
how crazy that is.
We're also at the last 10-minute mark, but this is important because there's a lot of negative sentiment, right? मतलब पाकिस्तानी markets, there's a lot of negative sentiment के अगर आप न्यूज़ साइकिल भी फॉलो करें तो बस अभी डिफॉल्ट हो रहा है और ये हो रहा है और पैसे डूब जाएंगे एंड बट आई थिंक पीपल वी नीड टू टेल मोर पीपल दैट इट्स नॉट दैट बैड even within Pakistan as well. People are making a lot of money. You just mentioned banks. Uh, if you keep a certain amount of money in banks, you're getting 18-19%. They are unke against government is borrowing from them from like 20-22%. बीच का 2-3% banks रख रहे हैं and we are talking about billions of rupees. क्योंकि a lot of Pakistanis have their investments tied up in ये national savings, defense savings and banks, right? So obviously there is some sort of a trust in the system. तभी लोगों ने अपने करोड़ों रुपए even overseas Pakistan उन्होंने यहाँ पे रखे हुए हैं. मतलब अगर इतना ही बुरा हाल होता तो वो ये पैसे कहीं और रखते. But all this money is in our system, right? मतलब people don't know this a lot. They're just following the negative sentiment.
Yeah, there is money to be made in Pakistan. आपके जो सारे बड़े business groups हैं, मतलब like Tabbas, they're investing in Pakistan right now. उन्होंने मतलब I think अभी recently कुछ महीने या साल पहले उन्होंने like ये गाड़ियों में, mobile phones में invest किया था. Airlink, there's so many companies, so many groups that are taking bets on Pakistan. और वो अपना पैसा लगा के they're taking a bet on the country ना यार. तो
Yeah.
I'm just saying कि yeah, देखो company मसले होंगे यहाँ पे, and Pakistan has a lot of issues. We don't export, we import more than we export. We don't, people don't pay taxes, stuff like that. That's a long debate. But generally, देखो companies will keep growing, सही है, because we have a few advantages, and I'm
Yeah.
sure that these advantages are quoted more than they should be. But like we are a big country of like 250 odd million people, and good location, good natural resources. वो सारी एक लंबी list, एक laundry list है. But like I'm just saying कि Pakistan is a big country. It's like it's a like it's a force to be reckoned with, but only if like we undertake reforms and like go through the journey that India went through in like 1990s. अगर वो कर लेते हैं, then like I think the sky is the limit. मतलब there's no stopping us from like making our situation better. तो मतलब Pakistan, if you're investing in Pakistani companies, you're taking a bet on Pakistan, and if you feel confident that this country will be around, then like you can take a bet, because these companies, and some companies also like expanding abroad, like Systems Limited, like a few other companies are they're doing exports, and like they're also like setting up offices abroad, and like eventually maybe they start acquiring
Especially in the
companies
Middle
and stuff
East. Yeah, especially a lot of
in the
IT
Middle East,
companies
yeah,
are looking
Saudi,
towards Middle
Dubai,
East.
etc.
Yeah. No, obviously that's great, and I think this needs to be talked about more, and especially what you're doing with your YouTube channel, because people don't know that how many opportunities are there, right? Coming back to like we are almost at the end. I want to know, okay, in terms of financial markets, you just mentioned a few startups. Do you think we're gonna get access to all these global payment gateways? मतलब आपको लगता है कि पाकिस्तान में कल को GPay आएगा या PayPal आएगा या इस तरह के इन्वेस्टमेंट आर्म्स आएंगे? क्योंकि until जैसे रेवोलूट हो गया या डिजिटल वॉलेट्स हो गए, बिकॉज even at the moment hardly we have any, like we have SadaPay and all, but we don't have access to global markets, right? Like if a student in the US can make more money than a salaried professional in Pakistan because he has access to all those systems, right? Do you think something's going to happen here in the near future?
Yeah, देखो, economy में there's a lot of like black money, a lot like we have a large undocumented sector that people don't like being documented, they don't like paying tax, they don't like being honest. So these people, I can't like really say anything about them. They're just just doing whatever they want to do. But otherwise, like जो आम बंदा है, like there are some people that like already have like good, like they're already up there in terms of digital adoption. कुछ लोग हैं यार, they don't have mobile phones, they don't know how to operate them, they don't have bank accounts, जिस तरह के basic मसले मसाइल हैं. तो वो जो strata है of society, I think like eventually over time the trend will always like go up. What pace that happens on, I don't know, but like eventually people will get smartphones. You can see these days, you can see
Yeah.
like domestic help also. They have like mobile phones. They're active on WhatsApp. They're like they watch TikTok instead of like dramas and stuff like that. So as that thing happens, like there's no downside of going digital. It's a convenience factor, na? So over time, I think like when the market grows, it's all about scale. When that scale is there, then, it makes more sense for companies to come and do this whole digital payments and fintech thing. So I'm not a fintech expert, but I think it is the only way forward to Pakistan. India, I'm thinking every fruit wala probably has like a QR code.
QR
What's
code,
stopping
right?
us from doing that in Pakistan?
And I think you can also pay through WhatsApp. I think you can
Probably,
also
yeah, I'm not sure about it, but like,
send money, request money from WhatsApp, and they're like, but that's like अगर हम दुनिया को follow नहीं कर सकते, at least we can look towards our India, right? Because वहाँ पे अगर fruit walas can have QR code, then it's the digital adoption rate is it's pretty much similar here as well. Perfect. We're almost at the end. Hamza, if you would like to just in the last 2-3 minutes say anything to people who are watching, who want to make money, who are hesitant to do that, and how should they start, and just like sum it up in like 2-3 lines.
yeah, so I'll just like start by saying this, that when I started with stocks, I was like super scared. So yeah, I thought I could probably lose all my capital, wipe out everything. So I was like, what's that amount that if I put on the line, अगर मैंने कोई गलतियां की, so like if I lose that money, like it'll obviously hurt, but it won't like really make me go bankrupt. So I started with like less than 1% of my entire like savings. बाकी मैंने सारा fixed income में डाला हुआ था. And I just started with 1%. I did that for like maybe 6, 7, 8 months, and then once I figured out, I made a lot of mistakes in the start. So after you make mistakes, I think that's the best way to learn. You can read 100 books, but if you don't make mistakes, if you don't like get first-hand experience, so you won't learn anything. So I would just say like start today. Uh, I think Shreya, you should also put up the compounding graph on the screen, because I think that's something I refer to all the time. But it's just like an exponential graph like this. So the longer you do it, the faster the rate at which your wealth grows basically increases.
I think I'll put it up
people
later
should,
because it's a new call. So you can send me and
you can put it up later. You can just edit on the video. But I'm just saying, it's important for people to compound their wealth and start early. So yeah, time is the biggest source of advantage. And start small. Don't take too much risk. And there are plenty of resources and people online, like Twitter, vagaira, that answer questions and help you get started. So I just want to close by saying that I started a financial literacy initiative on YouTube, and I've been quite active on Twitter also recently. So if people want to follow me and just like ask me questions, or like maybe have me put them in touch with other people, I'd always be happy to help. So I just want people to get started, and I think like that's how this ecosystem will grow.
Perfect. I'll also add your links to the description once I upload the video. Thank you everyone for watching. थोड़ी सी बीच में disruptions आई होंगी, but apologies for that, and I'm gonna try to fix it once I upload this. Thank you, Hamza. Thank you for your time.